say, congratulations, you found a parking spot and you are here. As the students here today will attest, it is very difficult to find parking spots. So feel free to say something to campus safety about the lack of parking availability. So yeah, I got 2 parking tickets last week. So it's a big problem. But I am here to talk about the undocumented youth in Tennessee. But first I wanted to begin with, what does undocumented mean? Well, within the state of Tennessee, being undocumented means fearing going to work, fearing the fear of taking your child to school. Why? Because if you are undocumented in the state of Tennessee, you cannot apply for a driver's license. You cannot apply for a state ID. How many of you have a state ID that says, or any form of ID with you today that says your name, a picture, and an address to identify who you are? I just want to know who has that today. If you leave your house and you don't have this ID, sometimes you freak out, with good reason. But there are 11 million undocumented people in the state, in the whole nation. But I want to focus on youth. There are 1.8 million undocumented youth in the nation. To refer to the undocumented youth, I will use the term dreamers. The DREAM Act was introduced in 2001, that was a long time ago, to allow youth who entered the country before the age of 16 and have been in the country consecutively for 5 years for some form of pathway to citizenship. That was 2001. It was introduced like a couple more times after that, and nothing has happened. One of the reasons for no concrete pathway to citizenship, hence this limbo that these 11 million undocumented individuals find themselves in. So what has been one of the few things that individual states have done to try to amend this has been to introduce in-state tuition equality bills. So each state can opt to give, within their state, a form of a pathway for higher education for undocumented youth who want to continue on with their education. If you're undocumented, graduate high school, get that diploma, that pretty diploma, but once you try to apply for college, university, what have you, you have an additional barrier. Not only do you have to pay out-of-state tuition because you're not considered a resident, which typically means 2 to 3 times as much as the in-state tuition, and I have some figures. So average in-state tuition at a public 4-year college is about $8,900. But of course, you have some like state grants, you have some like HOPE, the HOPE which students in Tennessee get. But if you're undocumented, none of that applies to you. No federal grants, no grants, period, no loans, because you can't prove that you'll be working afterwards, so that's out of the question. But in your force, in addition to that, to pay out-of-state tuition, which is typically around $22,200. So that not only is out of pocket, but you can't legally work, you don't get in-state tuition, so you don't get grants, and you don't get loans, because you can't prove that you'll work after you get your diploma, your degree. There are 19 states that have passed in-state tuition. Tennessee, unfortunately, is not among one of those. But we have hopes, and we do believe that if we push hard enough, that we can get this passed in the state of Tennessee. We have about 14,000 youth who are DACA eligible. DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, is a 2-year work permit for undocumented youth between the ages of 16 to 30. It's a work permit. In the state of Tennessee, you can get a driver's license if you have a work permit. Great. So we've got 14,000 people, individuals who are eligible. Only 4,000 have applied. Why? 4,000, so only 4,000 youth throughout the whole state of Tennessee have DACA right now, which is a 2-year work permit, which allows you here to get a state ID, and I cannot stress enough, an ID is very important, and it's close to gold for an undocumented youth. So it's expensive. A lot of people are afraid to give their information to USCIS because not only do you have to prove that you have lived in the country consecutively for 5 years, but you are also giving personal information, and sometimes if you are applying as a minor, so if you're 16 to 18, or 16 and 17, you have to provide your parents' information. In the application, you are also saying that, yes, I am undocumented, I am applying for this, and you're also giving your parents' information. So who would not be afraid to turn this in to USCIS? And so out of fear, we have another 10,000 more individuals that have not applied. So we are seeking those youth out. So that's a little bit of the background of what it means to be an undocumented youth in Tennessee. Going off of in-state tuition, which is something that I want to focus on because we are here at Rhodes College, which is a private institution. We have a lot of dreamers that believe it to be less expensive to apply to a private institution than it is to apply to a public institution. Because with being at a private university or college, you are eligible for private grants and private scholarship, which is not tied to state or federal money. So it's between, if someone could tell me how much the tuition is at Rhodes?
Tuition, room and board is $50,000.
$50,000. But you are eligible for some, yes, very, very grateful to be here. It allows students access to private grants and scholarships, whereas, like I said before, the average out-of-state tuition at a public four-year university is about $22,000. That would come out of pocket because most public institutions believe that you can apply for federal, state money grants. So it would be significantly cheaper.
Iris, the average amount that a student pays at Rhodes is for tuition is about between 20 and 22.
So, thank you.
Yes.
Because of financial aid.
Yes.
Which is available.
You said that was a year or a semester?
A year.
A year.
So, as I was saying, challenges faced among undocumented youth mainly has been access to education, which is something that we are trying to address at TIRRC. We have a very strong youth committee in Nashville called JUMP, which along with the Tennessee Student Union has gotten together, and they believe that top priority is tuition and quality, which is something that we are hoping to push on. So if you would like more information or would like to get in touch, definitely come and talk to us afterwards. But thank you so much. Before I conclude, I just want to give a shout out to Gloria Sweetlove, who is here today, who last September, along with TIRRC staff, and my mother, who is also here today, got arrested in Washington, D.C. At a nonviolent civil disobedience. So thank you so much, Gloria, for your support. TIRRC thanks you, and I hope to hear from you later on. So thank you.
Thank you so much.